On May 10, 1940, the skies over northern France roared with a clash of aircraft as the German invasion unleashed chaos. Amid the chaos, a French pilot, Lieutenant Edmond Marin-Lamezlie, climbed into the cockpit of his Bloch MB.152 at Châteaudun Airfield. His mission? Intercept a formation of enemy bombers threatening French positions near Sedan. As his aircraft's Gnome-Rhone engine roared to life, propelling him into the fray, the Bloch MB.152 stood as France's most numerous fighter, a machine born from urgency and ambition, yet plagued by flaws that would test its pilots in the crucible of war. In the years leading to World War II, France faced a dire strategic challenge. The nation's Air Force, the Armée de l'Air, relied on outdated fighters like the D-500 and Loire 46 aircraft ill-equipped to counter the rapid advancements in German aviation. By the early 1930s, the French Air Ministry recognized the need for a modern single-seat interceptor capable of engaging enemy bombers and fighters. The rise of Germany's Air Force with its sleek Messerschmitt Bf 109 underscored the urgency. France's aging biplanes and early monoplanes lacked the speed, firepower, and agility to compete. The 1934 Air Ministry competition, known as the C-1 design requirement, called for a monoplane fighter with a retractable undercarriage, enclosed cockpit, and all-metal construction. This was a tall order for a French aviation industry grappling with fragmented production and political upheaval following the nationalization of aircraft manufacturers in 1936. The Société des Avions Marcel Bloch, led by engineer Marcel Bloch, answered the call. Bloch, a visionary with a knack for innovative design, tasked his chief designer, Maurice Roussel, with creating a fighter to meet the ministry's demands. The result was the Bloch MB.150, a prototype that laid the foundation for the MB.152. Development began in September 1935 at Bloch's Courbevoie facility. The initial prototype, powered by a Gnome-Rhone 14 kFs radial engine delivering 930 horsepower, was a low-wing monoplane with a fully enclosed cockpit and retractable landing gear, a stark departure from the open cockpit biplanes of the era. However, the first flight attempt on July 17, 1936, was a failure. The aircraft, fitted with a small 2.55-meter propeller to reduce weight and improve forward visibility, lacked the thrust to take off. Engineers scrambled to address the issue, fitting a larger wing with increased surface area, a longer stroke undercarriage, and a more powerful Gnome-Rhone 14-07 engine producing 970 horsepower. These modifications allowed the prototype to finally take flight on October 4, 1937. Service trials at the Centre d'Essai du Matériel Aérien in Villacoublay revealed promise, but also significant flaws. The aircraft's handling was adequate, but its maneuverability at high altitudes was poor, and its range limited. Despite these shortcomings, the Armée de l'Air saw potential and ordered further development. The redesigned MB.151 and MB.152 variants addressed some of the prototype's issues. The MB.152, equipped with a Gnome-Rhone 14-25 or 14-49 engine, became the primary production model. By 1938, production shifted to the nationalized Société Nationale de Construction Aéronautique du Sud-Ouest factories in Châteauroux and Mérignac, as Bloch's company was absorbed into the state-controlled system. The first pre-production MB.152 flew on December 15, 1938, and the Armée de l'Air accepted its first operational unit on March 7, 1939. The Bloch MB.152 was a robust machine, measuring 29 feet 10 inches in length with a wingspan of 34 feet 8 inches. Its all-metal construction featured a stressed skin fuselage and a low cantilever wing, giving it a sturdy frame capable of withstanding significant damage. The aircraft weighed 12,375 pounds empty and 15,820 pounds fully loaded. Powered by a Gnome-Roan 14-25 or 14-49 radial engine, it produced up to 1,120 horsepower, achieving a top speed of 310 miles per hour at 18,000 feet. Its service ceiling reached 32,800 feet, and it could climb to 16,400 feet in 6 minutes. The MB.152's armament was formidable for its time. Two 20mm Hispano-Suiza HS-404 cannons, each with 60 rounds mounted in the wings, and two 7.5mm Mac 1934 machine guns with 500 rounds per gun. This made it one of the few fighters in 1939 equipped with cannons firing outside the propeller arc, providing a devastating punch against enemy aircraft. However, the guns were notoriously unreliable, often jamming during combat, and the aircraft's range of 370 miles was shorter than the Messerschmitt Bf-109's 410 miles. The cockpit, though enclosed, was cramped, housing a single pilot who operated the aircraft's controls, radio, and rudimentary gun sight. The retractable landing gear, while modern, was prone to mechanical issues, and the tailplane required constant adjustments to maintain stability. Production was hampered by delays and quality control issues. By September 1939, when World War II began, the Armée de l'Air had received 249 MB.151 and MB.152 aircraft, but only 123 were accepted as operational. Many lacked essential components, such as gun sights and propellers, rendering them unfit for combat. A critical flaw in the tailplane, identified in May 1939, forced the storage of the first 157 production units for modifications. By January 10, 1940, the Centre de Réception des Avions de Série had accepted 138 MB.151s, but 62 remained non-operational due to missing equipment. The MB.152, with its improved 14 and 49 engine, gradually replaced the MB.151, but only 80 of the 363 MB.152s available by May 10, 1940, were fully combat ready. As the German invasion of France began on May 10, 1940, the Bloch MB.152 became the backbone of French fighter squadrons. 7 groupes de chasse, including GCI-1, GC-2-1, and GCI-8, operated the aircraft, though 3 units still used some MB.151s. On that first day, 93 MB.152s were operational, with 53 in reserve. The aircraft faced immediate challenges. During the Phony War from September 1939 to May 1940, engagements were rare, with only one confirmed kill, a Junkers Ju-88, recorded. But the Battle of France changed everything. On May 12, 1940, GC-1, based at Châteaudun, engaged enemy bombers over Sedan. Lieutenant Marin Lemeslet, flying an MB.152, claimed 2 victories, though his aircraft sustained damage from return fire. The aircraft's durability proved vital, as pilots reported MB.152s returning to base riddled with bullet holes, yet still airworthy. However, the aircraft's poor maneuverability and short range limited its effectiveness. In dogfights, it was outclassed by the Messerschmitt Bf-109E, which was faster, more agile, and better armed. Even the twin-engined Messerschmitt Bf-110 outperformed it in speed. The MB.152 saw intense action across northern France, On May 14, 1940, GC, the second one, operating from Bloch, near Paris, intercepted a formation of Dornier-17 bombers over Reims, downing 3 but losing 2 MB.152s to escorting Bf-109s. By May 20th, losses mounted and Bloch units were withdrawn to the Paris area to reform. GC-8, based at Chantilly, recorded 32 confirmed victories, but lost 7 pilots, including Lieutenant Pierre Dubois, killed on June 3, 1940, during a patrol near Amiens. Polish pilots integrated into French units also flew the MB.152. GC-145, composed of Polish exiles, received 3 MB.152s on June 13, 1940, at Châteauroux, but abandoned them at La Rochelle as the French collapse loomed. One notable Polish pilot, Zdzisław Henneberg, flew his MB.152 to England after the armistice, where it was briefly used for air defense before being grounded due to a lack of spare parts. The MB.152's combat record was mixed. Official tallies credit Armée de l'Air Bloch units with 135 confirmed victories, including 25 by GC-1, 24 by GC-21, and 32 by GC-8. However, 94 MB.152s were lost, with 42 pilots killed. The aircraft's cannon armament gave it an edge against bombers, but its unreliable guns and limited range hindered its performance. In one instance, on June 5, 1940, Captain Jean Doughties of GC, the second one, engaged a formation of Heinkel He-111 bombers near Troy, downing 2 before his cannons jammed, forcing him to rely on his machine guns. Such experiences were common, frustrating pilots who valued the aircraft's stability as a gun platform but cursed its mechanical quirks. Beyond France, the MB.152 saw limited use. 9 MB.151s were exported to Greece, where the 24th Moira Dioxys flew them from Elefsina against Italian and German aircraft. On April 19, 1941, the last Greek MB.151 was shot down over Athens. The Vichy French Air Force retained 6 groupes de chasse with MB.152s after the June 22, 1940 armistice. These units, based in southern France, saw action during the Allied invasion of Syria and Lebanon in June 1941. On June 15th, a Vichy MB.152 squadron from Aleppo bombed British shipping in Haifa, losing 1 aircraft to anti-aircraft fire. By December 1st, 1942, the Vichy Air Force was disbanded, and surviving MB.152s were transferred to the Royal Romanian Air Force, which used them for training until 1944. The Bloch MB.152's production totaled 663 units, including 144 MB.151s and 482 MB.152s. An improved variant, the MB.155, with a greater range of 450 miles, was ordered in 1940, but only 10 were completed before France's fall. The MB.157, fitted with a Gnome-Rhone 14R4 engine producing 1,580 horsepower, showed promise, reaching 342 miles per hour in tests in 1942 under Vichy's supervision. However, it never entered production due to the German occupation. Production ceased in June 1940 as German forces captured the Châteauroux and Marignac factories. Some MB.152s were pressed into German service as trainers, while others were scrapped. Few MB.152s survive today. One airframe, serial number 271, is displayed at the Musée de l'Air et de l'Espace in Le Bourget, France, restored to its 1940 configuration. Another, recovered from a wreck near Marseille, is under restoration at the Conservatoire de l'Aéronautique in Toulouse. The aircraft's legacy is one of unfulfilled potential. It was France's most numerous fighter, in May 1940, yet its flaws, poor maneuverability, unreliable guns, and short range, limited its impact. Compared to contemporaries like the Dewoitine D-520, which was faster and more agile, or the Morane-Saulnier MS-406, which was more maneuverable, the MB.152 lagged behind. Its cannon armament was a pioneering feature, but the Messerschmitt Bf-109's superior performance overshadowed it. The MB.152's pilots, men like Marin Lemislet, who survived the war with 13 confirmed kills, and Doughty's, who later joined the Free French, showed remarkable skill in coaxing victories from a challenging machine. The Bloch MB.152's story is one of ambition tempered by reality. Designed to defend France against a resurgent enemy, it entered service too late and with too many compromises to alter the course of the Battle of France. Its pilots faced overwhelming odds, yet their courage and the aircraft's resilience left a mark on the skies of 1940. The MB.152, a fighter born from necessity, fought bravely but could not overcome the tide of war.